And welcome back to Sunrise here. This is the Eagle, Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who served and leaving no one behind. Good friend was with me today, Dick Tobiason. Dick, glad to have you with us.
Hey, good morning, Dave Adams.
And I think it's rather appropriate that our inaugural broadcast of Operation Eagle's Wings, or Eagle Live, the morning show, is here at the Bend Heroes Memorial. I know you've put a lot of effort into seeing that this come to realization. And it's just amazing sometimes to come down here to the Heroes Memorial and see what's going on. Now, I've noticed down here, see that somebody's put a little circle of rocks around one of the bricks.
Oh, yeah, that happens quite often. People do that. People bring flowers down here and lay them at the foot of the monument. They put flowers and a flag over the Randy Newman's monument.
This is a rather significant weekend for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, I believe it was yesterday, it was an anniversary of Bob Maxwell, and when he threw himself on a hand grenade in France.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bob, it was September 7th, 1944, Besançon, France. Probably 2 o'clock in the morning, a cold, dark night. It was really a strategic location for the Germans to secure Besançon because it was a rail center. And General Patch's 7th Army and Operation Dragoon had pushed up from the invasion of southern France, the forgotten invasion of France. Everybody remembers D-Day and Normandy, but just a couple of months later, of course, we had a huge organization invading southern France to drive the Germans north out of the Colmar pocket, and of course, when they got up to this strategic city, they were establishing a communication network for Bob's battalion, so the battalion commanders could talk to the rifle companies, which was the backbone of the army. And they had strung up the wiring and across the streets from building to building and down into the headquarters. And then the Germans decided to attack, because if they could knock out that little command center, then the battalion would be ineffective and the Germans would be able to rule the day.
But that's not what happened.
But that's not what happened. What happened was the Germans got pretty close to this little command post. There were 4 Army soldiers there stringing the wire, manning the network, command network, and Bob was one of them. And the Germans decided they were going to rub him out. And they got real close, and it was pretty threatening, and the Army sent in 9 people to rescue Bob and his 3 buddies. And that didn't work. They withdrew. One of them actually was killed in the process. So the Germans got a little closer, and of course they had a huge supply of automatic weapons, and Bob's and his 3 buddies were only armed with 45 pistols because they were wiremen. They weren't supposed to be out there carrying rifles.
They weren't frontline combat.
They weren't frontline, exactly. So the Germans got closer, and eventually they started throwing hand grenades in there, and the grenades would bounce off the wall into chicken wire, a little fence they had in that little compound. But one of the hand grenades didn't bounce off and went over the top and landed right in the middle of them. And it's dark, and Bob hears it. He knows it's there, but he knows he can't find it. Not in the dark. He's not going to find it. So he just dropped himself on it, and he knows that if he did find it, it would blow up. It wouldn't have time. So he dropped his body on it, unprotected, and it blew up. It blew up under his legs and lower part of his body. Of course, he was not mortally wounded. He's with us today, 91 years old next month. But the 3 guys he saved left. They gave him up for dead.
Yeah. And
his lieutenant was close by and heard Bob asking, screaming for help probably. And Lieutenant Johnson came over there and, under attack, grabbed Bob, and they hobbled out of there again. And of course, the Germans were still attacking, shooting at him, throwing more grenades. And it's fortunate that they didn't take him prisoner, but they did escape. And that allowed the battalion command headquarters to move out, retreat out of the area temporarily. And of course, they came back and ruled the day and went on to drive the Germans out. And Bob got medevac back to Naples, where he had been hospitalized before in the invasion of Anzio. Yeah. And then back to the United States, where he received the Medal of Honor in April 1945.
Now, Bob recently has returned from a trip to France.
He has. He spent 2.5 weeks retracing his steps all the way from the invasion at the beach at Saint-Tropez down by Toulon, and to see the memorials along the way. He said he met 15 mayors along the way.
Yeah.
Each city had a plaque or some sort that commemorated Bob's unit. And the French units that were there were French Free French forces there, were part of the campaign, part of General Patch's 7th Army. So it was a pretty memorable event. Bob's got lots of pictures. He said it's kind of a blur right now because they've been to so many places. They're 2.5 weeks, but trip of a lifetime for him.
And we will have him on the show here sometime soon and talk about his trip to France.
He will.
Just what's going on. And what, the thing that I want to talk to him about is, what was going through his mind in this most recent trip. You're going back to a place where some very traumatic things happen in your lives.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I asked him the other day, I said, when you got to Besancon, did you find the place? He said,
I asked him the same question.
Interstate highway, you might say, is now through there.
Yeah.
It's like a clover leaf of some sort, but he said, we got close.
Okay,
so
good. 9/11 is coming up this Sunday.
Yeah.
In fact, we're broadcasting live today from the Ben Heroes Memorial. There's going to be a special observance here Sunday morning, and we're going to be if you can't attend, we're going to be broadcasting it live on the internet, just like we are right now. What time is that going to be?
Well, we're doing two things. We're putting flags on this bridge right here, as we always do for 9/11. We have the police and fire department, for all volunteers, will install 45 flags on the bridge. The flags have special meaning because the right side of the bridge, the upstream side of the bridge, will have 14 flags, and the flags all have names on them, of course. And the first 4 are from veterans from Bend who were killed in Iraq post 9/11. The next 10 are, that's where there'd be Randy Newman, Jessica Ellis, Zachary McBride, and Aaron Klingman. And their names are also engraved here on the granite. The next 10 on that side of the bridge would be from veterans who were Marines who were killed or wounded from Randy Newman's unit in Iraq. On the other side of the bridge, of course, will be a fire department flag, a police flag. Of course, the memorial here will have all the military service flags and the police and fire flags right beside the first responders monument. And we'll have more flags on the north side of the bridge, the downstream side. There'll be 14. Besides the fire department, police department, there'll be flags of veterans from Central Oregon who were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. So they're the Tommy Tuckers and Dale Petersons and Cody Eggleston and Butch Hammer, Lauren Butch Hammer. And then we fly them. Matter of fact, when they had memorial services for them here at the fairgrounds, we flew flags on the bridge that day for those veterans.
But here, as far
so
as the ceremony,
at the memorial, right here at the memorial itself, we'll have a ceremony. We'll be reading the plaque that the mayor just signed and presented to Bob and me 2 nights ago, and so I'll be reading this proclamation here that commemorates the 10th anniversary. And there'll be 3 city councilors here, so they'll take turns reading.
What time's it going to be?
That starts at 7.
7 in the morning.
We'll lower the flag to half staff. Of course, everybody who has a flag should have it at half staff from sunrise to sunset on Sunday, 9/11, 10th anniversary, and that's a neat thing to do. So we'll do that, and Bob Max will lead the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'll talk a little bit about the flags that are on the bridge, and the names are on this monument here, the 4 veterans from Bend who were killed post 9/11, and the woman from Bend who was killed as a civilian contractor for the State Department teaching police in Iraq. So we'll mention those, and then we'll get into the reading the proclamation, and then we'll have a moment of silence. The proclamation, suggests that everybody cease what they're doing at 10 o'clock. So 2 things that are really important for the public to do is put the flag at half staff, and if you don't have a flag, go get one. And matter of fact, Costco's got a few left. Get a flag, put it at half staff for the whole day, sunrise, sunset. Moment of silence. No matter what you're doing at 10 o'clock, start what you're doing. Just 1 full minute, please.
At least for a minute. Now,
sure.
One of the proclamations and what people are encouraging for as long as practical to take a moment of silence to really reflect on.
Sure.
There's 3,000 people were killed that day.
2,977, and every one of their names is on this flag right here.
Okay, this flag that you can see right here is called the Flag of Honor, and it's incredible because the very first red line, if you can see it, is American Airlines Flight 11, and all of the passengers are here on this. And the names are in red, and so it makes one of the red stripes, the first red stripe on the flag. And who do we have going down?
American 77, United 175. 175 and American 11 were the Twin Towers, New York. And then Shanksville was United 93. Those are the names here in blue from here on. And then The World Trade Center starts here. And all the names from here down to the bottom of the flag are World Trade Center innocent victims who were killed by the terrorists. They actually represent 88% of all the names on that flag.
Incredible. If you'd like to get one of these flags, there's a website. It's called flagofhonor.org. And will you have this flag here for the ceremony?
Yeah, we'll have it here. Actually, it'll be in a frame right beside that because we want to display the names here. But for today's purposes, here it is.
Now, if you've never been to the Bend Heroes Memorial, this is a beautiful memorial. It's just west of the Newport Avenue Bridge, called the Veterans Memorial Bridge. But if you're unfamiliar to Bend and you need to find the street, it's the Newport Avenue Bridge, right here across the river. And it's just on the west side. There's a little park here called Brooks Park that as you're driving west on Newport Avenue, it's going to be right here on your left, just as you exit the bridge. And you can pull off here and park and come over and just take in this memorial.
I think you should get here early. Get here early.
But even if you don't come on Sunday at 7, if you're anywhere near Bend, do invite you to come on down and take a look at this. Very beautiful granite memorial here. And if we could kind of raise the flag here just a little bit to let people see all of the names. And there's World War I veterans, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan, Iraq, and Panama as well. And these are names from the Bend area.
Just from the city of Bend, people who had a tie to Bend, 108 names. There's space for more, and we hope we don't put any more on there. But we're on the banks of the Deschutes River.
Now, another thing we want to talk about is Honor Flight.
Yes. So, Honor Flight is a national program honoring World War II veterans by taking them to Washington, D.C. to see their memorial. Unfortunately, Oregon got into the program late, so we've had to play catch-up. The Bend Heroes Foundation, which I'm the president of, built this memorial. We manage the flag program in the city here. And we put up the highway signs that honor World War II veterans. We got 16 of the 19 signs up on 300 miles of Highway 97 from the California border to Washington State. So they're called the World War II Veterans Historic Highway, and each sign has a sub-sign underneath it that tells you this was Camp Abbott or Madras Army Airfield or Redmond Army Airfield or the Naval Air Station at Klamath Falls or the Camp Rufus at Biggs. So
Highway 97, excuse me for interrupting, Highway 97 was pretty significant in the
during World War II. Oh yeah, effort. Matter of fact, it was the main artery north-south between Canada and California. And the reason we had so much training here was because we were high desert. We had cold temperatures, warm temperatures, dust. We had the environment that the military expected to fight in World War II. Plus, we had a lot of flying here. We had fighters and bombers, P-38s, P-39s, B-17s, GBM Avengers, whatnot. And we had civilian pilot training at every airport here, Redmond, Madras, Prineville, and Bend, training civilians that eventually went into the military to fly airplanes. So the reason they were trained here is because there was a law that civilians couldn't fly west of the Cascades during World War II. There's too much going on over there, so they brought all the civilian pilot training over here on the east side. So what we did is after we got the highway signs project started and almost completed, we decided that we would get into the honor flight business because Oregon has about 300 World War II veterans waiting to go and only one organization, and that was west of the Cascades. So I went on a trip as a guardian to learn about it and came back, and we formed a hub. Bob Maxwell's a director, my son Eric is a vice president. Matter of fact, all our board is pretty Christian oriented. So we took we had some money left over from the highway signs project, so we took 10 veterans. Eric and I took 10 veterans to Washington just about a year ago, and then last May we took 27 more. And this is a picture of the veterans at the World War II Memorial. You can see a lot of them in wheelchairs. That tells you something about their age and health. There are a lot of them who will never be able to go. Just a little background here.
Yeah.
The national program has started 6 years ago, and it's taken 75,000 veterans from 40 states. Oregon is one of the last states to get involved, so we're playing catch up. We're helping people in Idaho and Nevada form hubs, and And then we've expanded our territory from east of the Cascades all the way to Idaho to California, Nevada, and Washington to include the Portland area because there are 75 veterans over there waiting to go. So we're taking, in September, this is very complicated, we're taking 2 trips in one day. On September 21st, we're taking 50 veterans to Washington with 34 guardians, and we'll be there for 4 days. And of course, the typical itinerary is to have breakfast at the Capitol with Senator Wyden and Representative Walden, a tour of the Capitol, lunch at the World War II Memorial, a tour of the memorial, spend a couple hours there, maybe 3 hours there, and then if things are going well, we go to the FDR Memorial around the corner, because FDR was the commander-in-chief for these veterans during the war.
Okay.
The next day we do Lincoln Memorial, Korea, Vietnam, Air Force, Navy memorials, the Iwo Jima, and then the Tomb of the Unknowns, and lay a wreath there. So we'll be doing that in September, and then we'll do another trip in October. So this year we'll have taken 112 veterans in 13 months. So it's
Now, one of the things we're very excited about is you're going to take another trip in May.
We'll take a trip next year in May, and you're going with us.
And we're going. We're going to be. I'm going to be a chaperone.
You're going to be a guardian.
A guardian. Sorry.
You're going to be responsible for 3 ambulatory veterans.
I am.
You are.
I'm going to have my hands full.
But it all works out fine.
I'm honored to be that. One of the things we want to do is we're going to take our gear with us, and we're going to chronicle this journey as much as possible. And I had a chance to interview the gentleman here. What is his name?
That's Roy Bunting.
Roy Bunting.
Bunting. He was a chief petty officer in the Navy. He was on a ship near the coast of Iwo Jima, and he saw the Marines fighting there, and he saw the Marines, in fact, raising the flag at Mount Suribachi. So when we were at the Iwo Jima Memorial, I asked him to sit there and point to the flag and kind of reenact it. So we've done that with Roy. But I think one of the things you want to point out here is after we laid the wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns, we were swarmed by all these kids in these green shirts, and they are students. Tree of Life Christian School. Tree of Life Christian School from Columbus, Ohio, and it was really. This tells you one aspect of their dedication to the greatest generation by saluting us as we left on the bus. But they, before that, they had swarmed us, and they hugged our guys. They took their autographs, their pictures. This is another picture of them at the memorial. And so these are our major sponsors. Southwest Airlines is very gracious by providing us free airline seats for 25 veterans each quarter. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we have to buy the seats for the Guardians and all that sort of thing. And then Shiloh Inns donates the first night in Portland at a reception and banquet for the veterans. And our law firm here, Burlington Northern Railway, has donated funds to us, as has Robertson Ford. Jeff Robertson's dad was a World War II veteran and a good friend of Bob's, Maxwell.
Now, time is really critical to get these World War II veterans back to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I think people generally understand, and I almost feel like writing an article that says that I think we've already forgotten them. It would be the name of it. When you go raise funds from large corporations, there's the grant program, foundation programs have no mention of veterans or even seniors. In general, most foundations grant money to children or women, battered women or whatever, but you don't find anything for seniors and you don't find anything for veterans in general, because 90% of the veterans who survived World War II have already died. We're down to the last 10%, and we lose 1,100 every day. In Oregon, we lose 20, 30 every day. So we're working with the few who are in good health, physically and mentally, and that are living, that can travel. So you can see about half will be in wheelchairs.
People want to donate. How do they do that?
They go to our website, www.bendheroes.org, or our second website, honorflightofeasternoregon.org. There's a gorgeous, gorgeous video on our homepage. Down in the low right corner, it'll say click here to take a look at a video of our most recent honor flight trip, and that will be the trip we took in May.
Okay. Interesting. Just a moment ago, somebody walked by and saluted us.
Oh, that happens. That happens a lot. This place has fulfilled functions that we never dreamed of. A Vietnam veteran proposed marriage to a woman here.
Really?
Oh yeah. I came down here one day, and the widow of Aaron Klingman, she's 22 years old, Ashley, was down here with her 2 little girls. She was pregnant when Aaron was killed. She was down here looking at his name and laying roses here. You'll come by here at night. There'll be people here looking at the bricks. You're wanting to read the names, so they'll read the names off the monuments. But there's at night, every time I drive by, there's always somebody here.
Yeah, I've had, when we've been down here for various reasons, we've had a lot of people, especially from out of town, comment on just how beautiful this memorial is.
It is.
And
Well,
I
I
see like little circles, or the people have taken small rocks that are here in the memorial
Sure.
and circled a brick.
Yeah, that's a way of remembering people. The whole idea of these memorials is just make sure that we never forget these people. And it says that on our memorials, that, matter of fact, I'm going to put a piece of granite up here saying, lest we forget, sometime in the future, but that's what we do.
So, Sunday morning, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. You can come down and put the flags up at 6:30. The veterans and the first response, police and fire, and the public are invited to come down. Anybody can come down at 6:30. It won't take very long to put flags up, 15, 20 minutes. And then while they're doing that, Bob Maxwell and I will put up the flags here at this memorial, at the memorial itself.
Bob will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
He is the leader, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you can't be down here or out of the area, then we're going to be webcasting it live, and you'll also be able to find it later on YouTube and our website, which is operationeagleswings.us. Now, a little bit about what we're doing again with the morning show. Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m., we're going to have an hour-long morning show. If we're on the road, we'll have it on the road. In fact, we're going to have a morning show September 23rd in Ontario, Oregon. The first half hour is a Christian segment, Love Inc., of Treasure Valley in southwest Idaho and eastern Oregon. And then we're also going to be visiting with the Ida Veterans Advocates, right next to, if you're familiar with the Ontario area, right next to Kenny and Keel Hardware. Ida Veterans Advocates has a building there, or as an office there, and we're going to be talking to not only representatives from that organization, but representatives from other veterans organizations as well. Plans in the future, when we go to New Zealand and we do a missions trip, we will do some broadcasts from over there. We're also going to go to Washington State and some other areas. So the beauty of the internet is we can go anywhere and do this. We're going to be doing a lot of shows here in Central Oregon. Check our website for Eagle Live Web TV. The veterans part of the show is from 7:30 to 8 a.m. If you miss it, again, you can check it on our website. There'll be a player window. You'll notice 3 player windows at the bottom, and one of those will always be the most recent show. If you can't catch it live, or you want to watch it again, or send it to your friends. Bob, it's a pleasure to know you. And,
Dick.
Can't tell this is live. Dick. How soon we forget. It's a pleasure, honor to know you. And
yeah, we've known
Bob
each
Maxwell.
other for a long time. We've got a good group here.
Yeah. So we're here at the Veterans Memorial, at the Bend Heroes Memorial, just to the west of the Veterans Memorial Bridge, which is the Newport Avenue Bridge in Bend. And it's been a beautiful day here in Central Oregon, a beautiful day for our first broadcast of Sunrise here on TJN, the Jesus Network, and Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who served and leaving no one behind. We had a really great time at the Redmond Airport the other day as 15 in the first flight, and I believe 2 in the next flight came home from Iraq.
Yeah.
3rd Battalion, 116th. And it was just awesome to be there as the there was more than 100 people. There was probably a couple hundred people there. Were clapping and yaying and high fives and so on and so forth. It's just neat to see them come home.
Those people protect our freedoms.
There you go.
Long line of history. A couple hundred years of that. 1 million veterans have lost their lives for this country.
Yeah. So as you see people who have served this nation and served the cause of freedom in the Middle East, whether or not you agree with why they're over there, how long they've been there, whatever, they're over there putting their lives on the line, and we need to honor them. I would strongly recommend you go up to them and say thank you, and then also say, how are you doing? One of the things we're going to be doing on the Eagle Live TV and morning show is talk about some of the issues that are facing veterans. PTSD is an issue. Suicide is an issue. That's kind of the 6,000-pound gorilla in the room that nobody wants to talk about. But suicide is an issue. There have been some months that they've lost more servicemen and women, mainly men, to suicide than combat. So we need to take PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and really embracing the returning servicemen and women closely and saying, are you okay? Everyone is in that position, but we really need to honor them and remember that they're defending the cause of freedom, and it's our part as they come home to cover their back. And by that I mean, are you okay? How are things? Do you want to talk?
Can we help your family?
Can we help your family?
The family is a really important anchor for these people, and if we have people in combat and they have to worry about their families, it's not a good thing. We have veterans in combat who've left their jobs for lower paying military work and have had to abandon mortgages. We've got people that are homeless, families that are homeless, people that can't pay the utility bills. So the family portion of that has to be included in the equation. There are a lot of good programs out there. The homeless veterans now, we have programs for them. We have housing. We have, thanks to Representative Walden, we now have vouchers where they can easily go out and rent properties, and so that's been very helpful to make the transition from combat life back to civilian life. It's having been a combat veteran myself in Vietnam, it's never easy. The transition is maybe physical, but mentally it's never complete. These people will be some people will be troubled the rest of their lives with PTSD. I have friends that are Vietnam veterans. That war's been over 40 years. They still have a difficult time with their lives.
And some of the veterans, we should remember some of the things they don't want to talk about. So don't try to pry information from them, but just be there as a friend and just, hey, thank you for the service to your country, and how you doing? No, really, how are you doing? Is there any way I can help? We need to cover their back, because they went over there, and what we're seeing is they went over there, were in stressful combat situations, and they come back here to the economy, the loss of jobs, and they've kind of went from, in some ways, the frying pan into the fire. They've come back to a different set of stressors while they're still trying to reacclimate from the stresses in combat. It's a different kind of war or battle that they're faced with over here. We need to help them out. Dick.
Thank you.
Got your name right this time.
Dave.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
I always see you too, David.
And I'm sure we'll be here again on many occasions, but the next one is going to be Sunday morning at 7 a.m.
Yeah, we'll be back here again for Veterans Day, November 11th, and we'll put 300 flags in Bend, and then we'll be here for Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, December 7th. We'll have a special ceremony here because it's the 70th anniversary. So we have the 10th anniversary for 9/11 and the 70th anniversary for Pearl Harbor. How are they connected? Common thing. Unprovoked attacks on American soil, killing about 3,000 in each case. 9/11 is essentially Pearl Harbor all over again.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us on this inaugural broadcast. We will see you again Monday morning. This is Friday. Monday morning at 7 a.m. Check out our website for where we'll be and who we'll be talking to. Operation Eagle's Wings. I'm Dave Adams with Dick Tobiason, Veterans Advocate here in Bend. Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who served and leaving no one behind. Have a great day.
Thank you.